Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Chris Rock has been given a lot of love now through ticket sales. All of his shows are basically selling out. And a $40 ticket is now basically $400 to get a ticket to see Chris Rock. Well, the world is divided here. They're divided about Will Smith and his actions. Let me be very clear. You know, sometimes people do things to make themselves seem big and they reveal themselves as being small. America has been divided based on polling data as to the actions of Will Smith. Will Smith was wrong. Now I'm going to dissect some things here because I think it's important. Before I do that, let's go back to the clip of what happened that night.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right? That was a nice one, okay. I'm out here, Richard. Oh, wow.
You know, some people say that was Will Smith being a man, standing up for his woman. Really? Let me dissect the ways. You know, manhood is about responsibility. Manhood is about maturity. It also includes impulse control. And let's be very clear, Will Smith himself laughed at the joke. Now, do I think the joke was in bad taste? Yes, if Chris Rock was aware of why she shaved her head. If he is not, then context matters. The issue is this, okay? If you believe that Chris Rock was somehow deserving of being slapped because he made a joke that landed wrong, I want you to think about a few things. When two teenagers are arguing and somebody says, yo mama, should the teenager then engage in physical combat? Is that worthy of a fight because somebody offended you? Just a question. Let's go a little deeper. If you understand this action of Will Smith, then you also agree with O.J. Simpson. O.J. said, and I quote, I understand the feeling. Yeah, that's what O.J. Simpson said. According to TMZ, Chris had no idea Jada had alopecia and that he does not have a mean bone in his body. Chris' joke that sparked the smack was directed at Jada's short hair, telling her he could not wait for G.I. Jane 2. Let's go to the polling data. More than half Americans sided with Will Smith over Chris Rock in the now infamous Oscar slapping incident, according to a new poll that asked, who do you think was more in the wrong? Blue Rose Research, a Democratic pollster, surveyed 2,162 Americans online regarding the heated moment at Sunday's Academy Awards between Rock and Smith, with 52.3% of the people saying Rock deserved what he got after he joked about Smith's wife's shaved head. Okay, now let me tell you what this is about, damn it. This is about Hollywood's fascination with status, and by extension, our fascination with status as well. Because I guarantee you, if Chris Rock would have done the slapping of Will Smith, Chris Rock would not be receiving this kind of love. Chris Rock would not have been able to sit back down and enjoy the show. Chris Rock would have been escorted out and possibly even arrested. It is because Will Smith has a certain status, and Hollywood is fascinated with status, and so are we. You change the status of those two individuals and the context becomes, look at those thugs. Yeah. Change the status of those two individuals and the conversation becomes about toxic masculinity. But because of their status, because Will Smith has this certain atmosphere around him, because we expect so much more, we're willing to bend the rules for Will Smith. Let's say Donald Trump would have done it. Let's say somebody offended Donald Trump's wife and Trump decided to walk on stage and slap somebody while they were hosting. Would you call it barbaric? Possibly, but others would not. Those that hold Donald Trump in an occult-like esteem would justify his actions just like many are doing for Will Smith. He wasn't defending Jada. He laughed at the damn joke. He looked at Jada and saw that Jada was not laughing. He slapped Chris Rock for himself. He did not slap Chris Rock to somehow protect Jada. The joke was told. It was over. If your woman is offended, you lean over to your woman and you say, baby, I'm sorry that I laughed at a joke that offended you. But believe me, I will address it after the show. Enjoy the rest of the night. This is baffling on a few other levels because we knew the racial tropes would come in. Here's one of them, Fox News.
Judge, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think that the Oscars are not the hood.
Not the hood. Janine. You see, I'm from the hood, as you would call it. I have more class in my pinky than you have in your entire body. In the hood, people don't go around slapping individuals. That's not what happens there. That's a false narrative, a misnomer, a racial trope. You could not help yourself. You had to throw some red meat at the racist, bigoted viewers of fixed news. It is fascinating. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, what Will Smith did to Chris Rock was wrong, was not appropriate. We can also debate about the joke that Chris Rock made. We will know later if he actually was aware of this autoimmune disease that causes patchiness. We don't know for sure. But status is at play here, and Hollywood is fascinated with it. Brett, thoughts here?
My main takeaway from this event is you cannot back the victim of a joke over the victim of an assault. Like you gotta draw a line there. People have been in my like DMs and replies all saying that like it wasn't violence, it was a slap. Well, you just told me that hitting people is not hitting people. And once you're there, you're kind of falling victim to this instinct that the internet kind of encourages, which is for people to, not say the obvious thing, but try to find something that's like a little more clever and a little outside what common sense would tell you, just so they can get clicks. I think this whole event, and Jeanine Pirro is really the embodiment of it. It's like if you've ever seen Planet Earth and there's that like deep sea episode and there's a whale carcass at the bottom of the ocean, and that's the slap. It is sunk to the bottom of the ocean and everyone just feeds on it until there's nothing left. And then there's a point kind of halfway through where people show up, where other animals show up to feed on the animals that are feeding on the carcass. That's Jeanine Pirro. That's people that are torpedoing other people's hot takes. But what I do know is like in 3 days, there will be nothing left but like vague, like floating fins or like cool memes about Chris Rock and Will Smith. They completely gloss over the fact that this was so egregious and so obviously insane for the people at the Oscars to give a standing ovation, that the person who's making the most sense about it is Jim Carrey, who got famous for talking out of his butt.
Right.
Great.
It's unbelievable. He seems to be so damn sensible here. And here's another thing before we move on. Brett, Will Smith made a calculation here. Because I guarantee you, if Steve Harvey would have made the same joke, Will Smith ain't slapping Steve Harvey. Hell, Will Smith would not slap Will Ferrell. There was a calculation here. He believed he could do this and get away with it because it's Chris Rock. And that was part of his calculation, and that was part of his redemption for laughing at a joke that his wife found offensive. And I get it, all right? I think she was legitimately offended, no issue there whatsoever. But to back something like this, and sometimes, Brett, I just ask one question. This is how I gauge morality sometimes, right? Would the world be a better place if everybody in the world did exactly that thing right there? And the answer would be, of course not. Of course not.